So the network logged us out. I have no idea why. It's been so rude. But please join us back. I'm sure our guest will come on as soon as she gets a notification. Okay, she's here. Are you there, Bukunmi?
Yeah,
Okay.
finally. This
Oh,
network
so
must
sorry.
cooperate with
So
us
sorry.
today. No problem.
Apologies
No
about
problem
that.
at all.
We're
No
flowing.
problem
So
at all.
yes, you were talking about the the myth of people saying that they have. Can you
Oh,
hear me?
yes, I can hear you
Can you
now.
hear me? Okay, awesome, awesome. So you already debunked that myth of people exploring before they get married, because I mean that's where
Mm-hmm.
the conversations about you don't do this, you don't do it like this, you don't do it like this, or your sexual
Yeah.
organ is not big, is not small. And we are asking, compared to who? Compared to who? Because you have met several people, you've been multiple
True.
partners with multiple people, and then when you get
Yeah.
to marriage, you are giving the innocent man or the innocent woman headache, you know. So I think people need to calm down. I know that there
Yeah,
is a
they
lot
need
of
to.
pressure, and we'll talk about in a few seconds. There's a lot of pressure from friends and maybe even from family to say that, oh, your XYZ age, how come? Are you sure that's not the reason why men are not approaching you? I mean, give them what they want
Mm.
now. Is it not just sex? And I'm wondering, is it sex you call just like this? Is it this word you call just like this? So how would you advise people who are constantly under pressure, who feel like they're left out? When you're in a gathering and all they seem to talk about is
Mm-hmm.
man sex, and you seem to be the only churchy, or only person amongst them. So how do you survive that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that a lot of people's self-esteem has really been battered because of this
Mm.
sexual purity topic. So how would you advise ladies who are in that category, probably even older ladies, they're still
Mm.
virgins, but they find themselves amongst ladies they've given it out a long time ago, or they're still giving it out.
Mm.
How do they navigate that?
All right. First and foremost, me, I'm always very careful of people I have in my circle because you know
Mm-hmm.
how they always say that show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are.
Exactly.
But recently people even started saying that show me your friend and I'll tell you your future because your
Yeah.
association sometimes determine your destination. So you have to be very, very careful of the people that you have in your circle. So you don't want to have a group of people that the only thing that they are talking about is something that is not like the only thing they're even talking about is just sex, sex, sex. Is that the reason why God even created me? That's not the essence. Yeah? That's not the purpose for my life. I think I was still talking to, I don't know if I was talking to my mom and my sister, which I think it was 2 days ago. And I was saying that marriage is not the purpose for my life. Marriage is just a vehicle to my destination.
Mm-hmm.
whether I up on it or not, I'll still reach my destination. That's just it. So
Exactly.
whether I up on that vehicle of marriage or not, it is just a vehicle. So it's not everybody that will get married. That's just the truth. It's not everybody that want to get married. Those that don't want to,
Exactly.
it's in the scriptures, like those that don't want to, just make sure that you are ready to keep God's standard. Like you are not going to be sleeping with anybody. Like you're keeping yourself for God and you're selling yourself out, for the gospel, which is fine. It's okay. For those that are wishing to get married, you definitely do not want to get it wrong, because that vehicle, if it's just like you are going to, it's just like you are going to Ikorodu. You're supposed to take a BRT that is going straight towards that side, that will drop you along the way before you get to Ikorodu. And you enter a
Mm-hmm.
vehicle that is going to Ogun State. Obviously, you've missed it. Like, what's the correlation between Ikorodu and Ogun State? You
Exactly.
definitely end up in another destination. So that's why we have to be careful. We have to be careful. So I also see association, I also see our friends as vehicles that will help us in this journey of purpose. So you definitely do not want to hang around people that will talk you down, that do not even live up to God's standard, that do not even believe in the scriptures. So why are you guys friends? Why will I have people in my circle that are constantly talking down, like what is that was really expressed, that was explained in scriptures as God's standard? All those kind of people, I definitely do not want to associate myself with them. So one thing I'm going to advise that person is, you yourself, you have to review, like, who are the people in my circle? Like, why do I have this kind of people in my circle? Like, you
Yes.
have to
Yeah.
rethink that. How did they end up in my circle? Is either, maybe due to loneliness, that's why you ended up with them, or you yourself, you don't know what you are doing, or you don't know where you
Societal
are going
pressure.
to. Yes. So if you do not know where you are going to, you end up with people that don't know where they are going to. That's just the honest truth. But if you're purpose minded, if you're purpose driven, if you're kingdom minded, if you have, the fear of God, if you understand why God has created you here, you definitely want to associate yourself with people that will help you in that journey of purpose. So that person has to really sit down and think, do I even know where I'm going to? Do I understand why I'm here? Because you can only know who you are if you know whose you are. So it's once you know that you are God's own, you are his precious child. So definitely it will align you with people, with like-minded people that are on that journey of purpose. So that person should really do an introspection to understand if he or she understands, purpose of God for their life, and why he or she ended up with that kind of circle. Because
True.
you can't say that you just ended up meeting them. You are the one that entertained them. There is something that is attracting them to you, that is in you too. So you have to do an introspection. But I'll always advise people, be careful of those that are in your inner circle, because they are like vehicles that help you in this journey of purpose. So I hope I was able to help out with that question.
Yes, yes, and that's very important because the people around you, they play a very huge role in the decisions that
Mm-hmm.
you make. You can't be too spiritual about choosing friends.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be too careless, because even Jesus was careful about the people he let. There was a
True.
70, there was a 12, and then there was a 3. Even among the 3, there was still one that was calling himself, I'm the beloved of Jesus. So
Yeah.
it's important that people make this to help themselves by the company that they keep around them. If you're always with people who constantly, so, or maybe they don't even talk about having sex, but just the like a desical attitude towards sexual purity. They are neither here or there. They're just they're probably
In the
not
middle.
even sexually pure because there's no bros in their lives. And when the topic comes up, what's their position? What's their demeanor? That's when you
True.
know that, yes, because you might not be talking about something, but your position towards it, when you're like, well, anything that goes, if he wants it and if he's worth it, I can give it. You already
Mm.
know that you're in the wrong setting, because your yes has to be yes and your no has to
And
be
you
no.
know how to
Very
be
important.
no.
Very important. So,
Yeah.
I like us to talk briefly about the biological aspect, because I don't know, maybe there is maybe there is a clinical or a biological what's the right word now, fear towards sexual purity.
Mm.
Because I had one gist one time. It was not even really a gist, it was a true life story of somebody who was talking about one of our mentees who went into the university. She got admission to university, young girl, 16, 17, got admission. You know, she had
Mm.
friends, she was with her roommates, and they were telling her, this your constant menstruation pain is because you are a virgin, oh, my sister. Don't you think you need to I'm serious. Allow somebody to and get in there. Once then you won't be having all this pain again because you are still a virgin, you're still a small girl. You need to get deflowered as the word may be, or get this virgin. And that's how pressure, you know, nice girl, Christian background and all of that from the house. And then they were able to pressure her, and that's how she gave in. And guess what? If she just had sex and it was the end, it would have been better. She not just had sex, she also had HIV. From that one
Wow.
experience, yes, from that one experience, it was terrible. It was terrible. So I really don't know. Maybe there are people you also wondering, these pains that I'm constantly having, or this sickness I'm constantly having, is that as a
Mm.
result of because I'm sexually pure? Is there any
Mm.
biological or chemical process to say, oh, if you're a virgin till this time, then something might be wrong in your, you know, fertility window or your gynecological process? I don't know, because guys tell a lot of, I've heard stories, Bukunmi, I don't want to start talking a lot of nasty things to say, you know, you need to fertilize your eggs because they are getting older, blah 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 blah, you know, crazy stuff. So you want to talk more, because I know you're also a medical student. If there is anything you'd like to say concerning that.
Hmm. All right, thank you so much. So I don't think I don't think there's any like clinical this thing, because yeah, different people have menstrual menstrual cramps, menstrual pain, and sometimes some people can say it's because maybe you've not had sex. But there are some people too that have had sex and they are still having this menstrual pain. So what's now the correlation? Like, I need to understand. I need to understand. And there are several other people that they kept themselves pure till marriage. And there was all this superstitious belief and whatever. I don't know where they are, because
Yeah,
I never heard a medical practitioner come out one day to say that, oh, if you don't do this, it's as a result of you keeping
yeah,
yourself. I've never, so I don't know where people that they don't even know anything about medicine, they don't even do well in biology, they are coming up with some lies, or they are coming up with some things. And I'm just really surprised. I'm just like, okay, what are people saying? Because there are some people that even there are some people that don't even have menstrual pain. Like, I'm one of them. Some people used to say, Kumi, you're very lucky. You don't used to have menstrual pain. I said, I do used to have it. They say, what does it, like my friend will say, what does it feel to be like God's favorite? And I'll just laugh about it. And I'll just laugh about it. So I don't think there is I understand people's fears, concerning, oh, you are getting older and all that. But recently, I must say, I think it was this morning I was thinking about it, that when did we start, who gave us the clock to start measuring age? Like,
exactly.
when did we start? Like, is there a particular, I think it's society, like, is there a particular age to get married, to give birth? That's why you will see a lot of broken homes these days, because you are forcing
Yeah,
people, you are pushing them, go and get married, go and get married, and they end up in a situation that they did not bargain for. Like, this is not what they wanted, but due to pressure they enter the
they had to.
wrong
Yes,
marriage. That's why you
yes.
see a lot of broken homes. That's why you see people, you pressure them, go and give birth, go and give birth. They give birth, but are they ready to parent a child? That's why you see
Mm.
broken children. And broken home would definitely equal to a broke. Why do people think that there is a broken society? I hope they know that family is the SI unit of the
Yeah.
society. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the SI unit of society. So our society is a reflection of what our family background is. That's just the honest truth. So the reason why we have broken world, broken society, so many ills in the society is because the family unit is lagging behind. It's because the family
That's true.
unit, there's something wrong, there's a gap, there's something missing there. We are not getting it when it comes to that. So we'll never get it. It's not cause. So we'll not get it when it comes to society. Because it's a family that makes up a society, not a group of families. Those are the people that make up the society. So if we're not if we are not working on that aspect, definitely our society will not get better. And if our society doesn't get better, our government, our country, our nation will not get better. So we have to
That's
start from the least. So I will just say that I don't think there is any clean. And yes, I know a lot of people's fears concerning, oh, you will soon reach menopause and all that. Like one of my mommies in the Lord, one thing that she said that stuck with me ever since. That's why it's called menopause, not stop. Yeah. So God has the ability. Yeah, that's where the supernatural comes in. God has the ability to change, to tweak that. That's why it's called menopause, not stop. It's a pause. So it can be started again. As far as it is paused, it can be started again. Sarah was 90. Abraham was
mm-hmm.
100. How did they give birth to Isaac? That was supernatural. So nobody
Exactly.
should tell me that biological clock, blah 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 blah. So far, I am following the Father's will. So far, I'm in His will. He's the one that will sort me out. I cannot wait this long and He will not sort me out. It's not
Mm-hmm.
possible. If you are
Yeah.
in the waiting season and people are pressurizing you, I want you to know that no matter how long you wait, He will sort you out and He will reward you for your waiting. And during that waiting period, just ensure that you're focused on Him. The way we
Yeah.
even shocked you yourself, you'll be like, ah, God. I've heard stories of people that waited and now they are enjoying their
Enjoying
marriage.
the
You know,
marriage.
they are doing so good than for you to pray, than for you to give in to pressure and end up being in a marriage that you regret for the rest of your life. So it
True.
pays to wait. It pays
True.
to wait.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. And I also love the fact that you brought the example of Abraham and Sarah. So that speaks to sexual purity really being an idea from God. So if your own idea of sexual purity is that my mommy said, if I touch man, I will get pregnant, or in my culture, once a woman is virgin before she gets married, she'll be banished from her husband's house, or all those things. They say a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes, so the idea is, but if that's the mindset, if we get married and God forbid, of course, we don't pray for any casualties, but if you get married and maybe for the first few years you are delayed in childbearing, you're going to be frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you're going to be frustrated because you'll be like, but they said I should keep myself, and I kept myself. So what's the problem? So if your sexual
Yeah.
purity, even if you're a virgin here, you're sexually pure, you've not done anything before, you are clean. And the
Mm.
mindset behind that is what your grandmother told you, or because you're afraid that the king's men will come and check the white bedspread on the wedding night to see if there's
Mm.
blood inside. Yeah, you can get frustrated at the end of the day. So whatever we're
True.
doing, whatever it is that we're doing, let our motive be the fact that we want to please God. Let's also even talk about
Mhm.
that nonsense of I'm keeping myself for my husband. Please, where's it written in the Bible?
Let's
Where's it written in
debunk
the
it.
Bible? Which
Let's
self are
let's
you
you
keeping?
let's come with two
Before you
edged
speak,
sword to
let me
debunk
talk
it.
about there was this guy I met. So we're just gisting. He was telling me about his escapade or his escapades, and he said he met a girl who was a virgin. I said, okay, interesting, because he was telling me that he likes to watch pornography and all of that to learn new styles. I'm like, if you're not going to get married to a virgin and you cannot do all those styles, it will take a while before you get into you get into the promised land. And what are you going to do? Won't you have wasted all your money and all the resources that you've gathered throughout the years, and it has a psychological issue with you, because now you fill your mind with all sorts of things, all sort of wild imaginations. And this lady, innocent girl you went to marry from church, does not know anything. She's like a new computer. You have to start installing. So what are you going to do? He said he actually met a girl, although he didn't marry her. He met a girl who was a virgin, and the girl so much liked him, and she said that on her birthday she would gift him her virginity. I'm like, eh? And she actually did. She was
Wow.
like, she would gift. So it kept playing in my head, like, gifts somebody. So please speak to the fact that a lot of ladies think, oh, they are doing their husbands a favor, so they are keeping themselves. Of course, yes, you are keeping yourself sexually pure because you want just one man to be the one who would, have sex with you, and that's your husband. But should that be the motive? Is that the motive why? Because some people in this 2022 still have that mindset. that don't please just speak to that.
All right, thank you so much for asking this question. I think while I was just asking the Holy Spirit that okay, God, do this session, I just help me, and this scripture just dropped. I think First Corinthians 6. I think it's chapter 6, if I'm correct, from verse 16 to 20. If you read it in Message translation, it was talking of how that sex, there is more to sex than mere skin, like skin to skin, like it goes beyond that. And it goes on to explain how that like you become one. When Bible says that what God has joined together, like, and the man left his, when he was talking about Adam, that Adam left his family and he became one with Eve. So when it says that he will cleave to his wife, like he will leave his family, and a man will leave his family and cleave to his wife. That what even makes marriage, like what makes a man and a woman one, is not that they put ring into one another finger. No, it's actually sex. That's what makes you one. So our union with Christ, self, when you say that we are now joined with Christ, I can relate it to sex. So sex is not just physical; it's very, very spiritual. Very,
Yeah.
very, very spiritual. So if we now read down to that particular chapter, was saying that we must, Apostle Paul was explaining to the Corinthian church that we must honor our body. Yeah. Like when Jesus Christ paid the price, not just pay the price for our sins, and for everything about us is for God. So we must honor God with everything, with our time, with our resources, with our body. Very, very important. So the
Right.
purpose of sexual purity, of keeping yourself to keeping yourself, is not even just because of marriage. It's not because of a man. It's because of God.
God,
So
yes.
you honoring your body and keeping yourself is not. I'm not keeping. Someone should ask me, why are you keeping yourself? I'm not keeping myself because of man. I'm keeping myself because of God. Because I know that this body is not my own. When I said yes to Jesus, it's no longer my own. Like someone will say, I'm his bride. So whoever now wants to come and take me, we have to take permission from the one
Actually,
who owns me. We have to take permission from the owner of my life that can I take your daughter? So the man is going to go and take permission from God. Do you understand? So when people
yeah.
when people come and say, I'm
My
keeping myself for
husband.
my husband. I'm not keeping myself for any man. For any man, I'm keeping myself because of God. Because first and foremost, before I will even meet his son, I met him first.
Yes.
Everything I'm doing is for him. Even the marriage that we enter, like both of us that will be together, we are driving towards God. Like the end goal is God. Yeah, the end goal is God. So we need to understand that when you keep yourself, you are honoring God with your body. Like you honor God with every single thing that you have. So when you honor God, definitely you will now honor, the person that He has placed in your life. That, oh, this is the person I want you to get married to. You honor that woman, you honor that man. And you know that you are meant to be. You are not meant to distribute yourself. This is the person that God has, that this is your partner. Like this person you are meant to do life with. So
True.
the reason why you are keeping yourself is not for a man, is not for a woman. Let me debunk that idea that they think that sexual purity is gender specific. No, men can keep themselves pure. It's possible. It is very, 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 very
Yes.
possible. I have those guys as friends. In case you're like, where's that man? I know them. So you can keep yourself sexually pure as a guy. Because most times when I hear sexual purity, a lot of people are on girls, girls, girls. I'm like, what about the guys? Why are you not mentioning guys? Let them know that this thing is a possibility.
Exactly.
So as guys, you can keep yourself sexual. You're not keeping it because of a woman. You're keeping it because of God. He is your maker.
True.
That's his standard. So you keep yourself because of him, because you honor him. You need to understand you are the temple of God. You are God's permanent address. Like the Holy Ghost lives in you. So you cannot afford to do anyhow. You have to, take care
Yes.
of yourself.
True. True. The only reason why the men escaped this topic is because this is the women's channel. That's why.
Ah,
If not, I was
no
not going to
problem.
spread them. But let's speak to this one last myth before we
Okay.
call it the afternoon. So,
Okay.
is it really possible? Is it really possible that one will stay unmarried and not have sex? Because I've heard a lot of people who say, I don't want to get married, I don't want to get married, but hello, you are eating the fruit of marriage behind the closed doors. So is it possible? Because whether we like it or not, we have sexual urges.
Yeah.
Men have,
Yeah.
women have. So is it really possible? Is it
Yeah.
an injection? Because I want it as real as possible. Is it an
Mm-hmm.
injection that somebody will take to kill those urges? What
Mm.
speaking from the biological aspect, not from the clinical aspect, what do you think
Mm.
can be a solution to that? Because if you're 50 and you're telling me that you're not yet married, I'm going to
Mm.
suspect you. Especially if you're a man, I'm going to suspect. It's true. I'm going to suspect you that you are
Mm.
eating ewedu and amala outside. So is it really possible?
Well, I think it is. I'm of the opinion that it is like we have apostles. Apostle Paul never got married. He had sexual urges,
Mm.
I'm very sure. He's human. So
Even
I,
Jesus.
I yes,
Even
so he
Jesus.
was he was he was human. Some people might say because Jesus is still God. So that's why I used Apostle Paul. I used Apostle Paul that he was human like us, and he even advised that people should be like
Mm-hmm.
him. Don't, so that you focus on God. Well, there's something that, yes,
Mm-hmm.
we have sexual urges, we have this sexual drive, that it was God that put this sexual drive and his spirit break. So I'll repeat that again. God put in
Mm.
us sexual drive, but the Holy Spirit is the break. So
Mm.
there are a lot of times that that you feel this thing. It's normal. I don't want anybody to think it's not normal. It's normal. If you don't even feel it, then there's something wrong with you. She suspects you. Because it was God that put this
This
thing in
problem, I was
us.
going to say
So
that.
it's not way to get this urge, to get everything. I think it was recently I had to go and check that. Why am I feeling somehow? It's not as if I'm watching, because sometimes it can be due to the movie you are watching and all that. But recently I was
Yeah.
like, no, I had to now go and check my calendar and say, oh, okay, it's that time of the month. That's why I was feeling that way and all that. Because I was like, what's going on with my body? So I had to check my calendar and I said, oh, okay, it's that time of the month. So that's why I'm feeling this way. So so what I'm going to say is that it's only dead men, eh?
Mm-hmm.
It's only dead men, people that are dead to the flesh, that can actually, say that, oh, regardless of, I there are some people that I know that they don't want to get married, say, like they just want to put themselves out for God. And there are some people that till now they are old, like sometimes I even wonder that this person is not yet married. Really? Okay. And
Yeah.
all that.
How are
And
they
maybe it's
coping?
not as if, eh?
And how are they coping? They're asking themselves, how are they
Yes,
coping?
in my mind, I'm like, how are you coping? Like, don't you used to have advances from, from ladies, especially when I see guys. Do you understand? Just like you
Mm-hmm.
said, I don't think I used to have advances from how do you hold your body and all that. But I've come to understand that this our body, once you understand that it is not your own and you just
Yeah.
leave it to God, like, I'll use myself as an example. So I remember this day I was with a friend. I was with a friend, and we're watching a movie together. And the movie is not, because me, I'm one person, I'm always very careful of what I watch. So I always advise people, be careful of what you watch. Don't just watch anything, don't just listen to anything. You're a believer, please. Whatever I still told some students yesterday that your actions are reflections of your thoughts, and your thoughts are reflections of what you have. All these feelings and you can't control yourself is because you are people of war, not before the not was started. Before of what you listen to. So we're watching a movie, and this is someone I'm attracted to. I'm not even going to lie. Christian animation that we're watching. All of a sudden, I started feeling some. We're just sitting down watching movie like nothing. Yeah, I was feeling some. I was like, what's going on? So I think he said he wanted to go and take something from the kitchen. But my sister was at home too with us. I think he said he wanted to go and take ice cream or something from the kitchen. Before he came back, I blasted in tongues for like 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes under my breath. I'm serious. Because I was like, nah, this is the way we control ourselves in the spirit. I blasted in tongues for like 2 minutes, and before he came back, my body, I said body, like I subject you now. Under the, I was saying it. I was like, you cannot. My emotions. Oh yeah, I'm the one in charge. You're not in charge of me.
Mm-hmm.
So we are
Mm-hmm.
not emotional being with a dash of spirit. We are spiritual being with dash of emotion. So you have to understand that you are in charge. Like God lives
True.
in you. So you have to be the one. He has given you dominion. So you are the one that will open your mouth and speak and control whatever, however you are feeling. You are the one that will speak it. And definitely you do not want to put yourself in compromising situations. So for all those
Yeah.
kind of people that maybe you know you're not yet to get married, definitely don't want to go to places that you know that you get aroused. You definitely do not want to listen to songs, watch movies that will make you sexually aroused. You don't want to do things, you don't want to put yourself around people that, so that's why I say you have to be careful. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
advice I'm going to give to anybody that is still, maybe you're in that waiting phase, you're still trusting God. Be careful of what you listen to, be careful of what you
Yeah.
watch, be careful of where you go to.
Or where
Very,
you go to
very, very,
social
very, very
gathering. You don't
important.
have to attend every
Yes,
party. You
you
don't
don't
have
have
to
to attend
attend
every
every
party. Some
party.
parties are
You don't
not
have to
for
attend
you.
every
You don't
social
have to attend
event.
every gathering. Some gatherings are not for you. And make sure that you live a consecrated life. A consecrated life is a life of daily obedience. Ensure that you yield to the
Mm-hmm.
leading of the Spirit. Study the word. Anytime that thing is coming, that feeling is coming, I know that it's not even like that feeling is just coming all of a sudden. What do? You blast in tongues. That's our own drug. You
Yes.
speak
So,
it, you're like nobody, you cannot get, you cannot dominate. I'm the one in charge here. Do you understand? So that's the advice I'll give generally, and I'll say that it's very, very possible to live a sexually pure life. I'm a
awesome,
testimony.
awesome,
Thank
awesome,
you.
awesome. That's very good. So let's mind where we go to, especially where we go to, honestly, because you might just because of what people would say or because of how you would feel around people, you don't want to be, there are some situations whereby you're in the midst of some certain people and they're discussing. You don't want to feel like the odd one out. And so you
Mm-hmm.
try to chip in, so that you don't look awkward. If you know that this, you just give them excuse, say, sorry, I will not be available. Don't go. You don't have to attend every gathering. See, you're not missing out. I think that's the fear that people have. Oh, fear of missing out. Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
we're
I might be
not.
missing out.
Come
Oh,
on.
hey, they will see me as I'm too spiritual. They will seclude it. Let
Carry
them
your
seclude you, girl.
like a Sarah. Wear it like a crown. Everybody calls me
Like,
Mommy Joe now. I don't even care. Call me. Yes,
exactly.
I'm a Mommy Joe. I accept my Mommy Joe with pride.
That's it. That's it. So they're going to call you, accept the fact that they're going to call you names. They call Jesus names. So who are you? The Bible says that greater
Exactly.
work shall we do. When people hear
Mm.
greater work shall we, they think it's just the miracles, just the signs and wonder. No, the persecution he collected, you too, you will
It's part
collect
of it, though.
greater.
The suffering.
It's part of it. So accept it. Know that they will insult you, collect it. Insult yourself before you meet them. That yes, I am only I'm only, you know, accept it. Okay, so what advice or what word do you have for people who have already lost it, maybe due to ignorance? Because I know back in the days there were not a lot of teachings on sexual purity. The only
Mm.
thing they had was that
Mm.
keep yourself for your husband, keep yourself. And when the husband did not come early, yeah, the kukuma gave it to Jumbo that was available and Jumbo did not marry them,
Mm.
and they really remorse, and they are not happy with the way things have turned out. So how do we advise those people? What is that word you have for those who have given up their sexual, their virginity, or people who have,
Mhm.
have been with multiple partners and now they want to change life? Because this is a no
Mhm.
judgment zone. We are not here to judge people.
Yeah.
We're not here to
Yeah. Yeah.
condemn you. We're only here to enlighten you and share the knowledge that God has given us with you as well. So I want you to speak to those people in case they are here.
All right. So my darling, in case you've lost your virginity or you've made mistakes, the first thing I'll tell you is no matter how far gone you are, you can always make a U-turn. and the Father is always waiting to receive you with an open arm. So don't think that, oh, God doesn't love me anymore and all that just because I've done this. And we all make mistakes, and the Father is always with you. The what's the word? The mindset we always have is that, oh, God doesn't love me anymore. God cannot use me anymore, and all that. So far you are repentant. There's a change in your mindset. There's a change in your ideology system. Once you're able to turn back and say, God, I am ready, you can still live a sexually pure life, no matter how far gone you are. So far you say, today I'm no longer doing this thing, and you hand over the keys of your life to Him and allow Him to drive you, then you can still live a sexually pure life. You see Rahab in the Bible. Rahab was a prostitute. So
Yeah.
imagine a prostitute
A
was
high
still
class
was
one
still,
at that. A
she
highly high
still
class
found. So
influential one.
when she decided to just repent and just, allow herself and her family to just serve God, after, they eat the spice and all that, they were saved, from destruction. And she just took that initially, she just made up her mind that they were going to serve God. You can see that she appeared, a prostitute appeared in the genealogy of the Messiah, which is Jesus Christ. So if God can use someone like Rahab, then no matter how far gone you are, do you understand? He can always use you. Even the adulterous woman too was there. The woman who was caught in the act of adultery, Jesus Christ still had mercy on her. So He told her daughter, go and sin no more. That's what He said. So I'm telling you, go and sin no more. Ensure that you do not go back to that old life. Just surrender yourself to Jesus. Ask Him to help you. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But by the help of the Spirit, as you yield yourself daily to the leading of the Spirit, is definitely going to strengthen you and ensure that you are accountable to people. You also need to surround yourself with people, with support system, with encouragers, with people that will hold your hands through this journey. Do you understand? Because it's just like someone that was a drug addict. It's not the day
Yes.
that he says, I will not take drug again. The next day, that's when he will no longer take drug. No, he will still have that withdrawal symptom. He will still have that symptom of, I want to go back. He will still have that mindset, oh, I want to go back. If I don't go back, I cannot be normal and all that. But once he submits himself to rehab, once he goes to that rehabilitation center, so our rehab in this kingdom is the Spirit. So once you submit, you yield to the leading of the Spirit, and you also have people to hold your hands, you're accountable to them, then it's definitely going to help you. And surround yourself with people that will constantly pray with you, that will constantly encourage you, a community of people that will spur you to be a better version of yourself, and to live out the fullness of all that God has deposited on the inside of you. Then it is possible to live a sexually pure life. Thank you.
Hey, I feel like someone should pass the offering baskets. Let's drop the offering.
Thank you so much
Oh, what an
for the
amazing
opportunity. Thank you.
session. Such a
Mhm.
great, such great impact and knowledge. Thank you so much, Bukunmi.
Thank you too.
We're highly grateful. We appreciate your
Thank
presence here,
you.
and we thank you for everything that you have told, every word of advice, every word of prayer, every word of encouragement. We thank you
Mhm.
very much. And thank you to, I know we have Bukunmi followers and fans here. We want to say thank you for visiting
Thank
WONDIVA
you,
Global
my people.
Community.
Mwah.
Thank you. This is WONDIVA Global Community, and this is a subsidiary of WONDIVA Single Central. It's called Conversations, where we have conversations every Saturday of the month. But for us as single ladies, we have ours at the last Saturday of every month. And this,
Mhm.
in case you're just joining us, we're talking about the myth of sexual purity. So you may want to stick around and watch the replay so you can enjoy all the discussions that we've talked about today. And if you would like to join WONDIVA Single Central, please send us a DM. Just send a DM, and then we'll be sure to let you into our community. All right, everyone. Thank you.